Welcome, everybody, to the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard for race number 5 at Lime Rock Park. It is time for this 5th race of the season on our first time at a road course heading to the Northwest Hills of Connecticut. Drivers are already venting with frustration and unknown of what is going to happen here tonight. Road course racing for 45 laps, and there will be no yellow unless the admins deem that the race course is completely blocked up and there's no way for us to continue on. What most likely we're going to be staying green all night long. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and Robert Moyer is going to be running our productions here tonight. Zach, you got to get a little bit of a taste of this track last night and throughout the week, but this seems to be most of the field concerned about how tonight's race is going to go.
I'm concerned for them, Sam. It's a very small road course here, very narrow track here at Lime Rock Park. It's going to be really fun to watch here with 33 trucks. That's the thing. These guys are packing house here on maybe one of the shortest road courses they possibly could have chosen. I mean, we're running sub-minute laps here, so that means you're going to be in traffic very soon. I'm going to call this place the Martinsville and Bristol of road course racing here tonight, because I think mostly the talk is going to be all about that traffic that these leaders are going to catch up to and what type of strategies are going to play out from there and who can survive this madness. I'm telling you, fans out there, you're not going to want to miss this one. This one is going to be probably the craziest race possibly of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you think of mile-and-a-half courses, and you think of all the D-shaped of Atlanta, Chicagoland, Kansas, and Texas, but this is a mile-and-a-half long road course that most of these drivers, I was talking to them, have never really touched this course before, and it is going to be really interesting throughout the night on how these drivers can attack. But drivers currently underway is qualifying, and Zach, like you said, it's under a minute that these drivers can put down. But what does that mean for the tires if they're running that fast here?
It's a tricky track with the tires, definitely. The way this track is set up, it's got a very long front straightaway. That's where the majority of the length of this track is there. It's pretty long, but the infield, very windy, very narrow, and a lot of right-hand turns. We're really only dealing with about 2 left-hand turns all night. Mostly, other than that, it's right-handers. So what these drivers are going to be thinking about is that left rear tire all night long. If you come out of those right-hand corners, slinging that rear end out to the side, really putting the work into the left rear tire there and wearing it down, you're going to struggle as that run continues on. So I'm really excited to see who can manage that, because that's the one tire that's going to go away. The right side tires are going to be very, very good all night long. No left-handers really to mess those tires up, but those right-handers all night long are going to be tearing up the left rear tire. So who can manage that? We'll see who can do it, but also the strategy with the way the fuel load is here, 50 laps, man, I'm kind of questioning, we may see somebody not even pit this whole race and keep out there for 45 laps of these tires.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see how the drivers can certainly try to hold on. Tire-wise, they're only going to be having 2 sets of tires in pit road to work with. If they decide to come into pit road, there is a stage break on lap 20, but there will be no yellow thrown for that. That's also one of the more tempting things that, usually you come to road courses, and when there is a stage break, the yellow is thrown for that stage break. But for the NAISCC Truck Series and for their Cup Series, they decide not to throw the yellow. I mean, Zach, when there is no yellow thrown for that stage break, how does that influence a driver's mindset when they know, hey, you got to be perfect from the start of the race to the end?
It's huge. It's a huge mindset change, because when you have that stage, you have, a guaranteed moment. If I make a mistake in this first stage, I can get rid of it. Not tonight. I'm a big fan of the way they run it here. I think stage racing personally kind of ruins the way the road course strategy plays out. A lot of guys you'll see pit before that stage. None of that's going to play out tonight. It's going to be all about you on this racetrack, consistently putting down each and every lap to further gain on your competition. But it's one of those things where you're just going to have to play it by ear all night here and watch what happens around you. You never know. You may not want to pit, but you may have to due to damage here at some point.
As you see, the 29, Kyle Guildhouse, going to be going off course, but he had finished his 2 laps of qualifying, so the 29 is going to come to a halt. But as you can see on our ticker, it's Vincent Sora, Mark Whitley, Brandon Colley, Danny Cochran, and Max Foner, your top 5. And those have been the top 5 fastest trucks all day during practice, so not surprised by that speed. But we are coming to less than a minute to go before we get the drop of the green flag, as you continue to see some of the drivers that are still going to be putting down their times. You see the 60 of Robert Schmock going to be riding around here. I want to give a big thanks to our sponsors. We'll talk more about them throughout the night. But first, starting things off, huge thanks to Track Racer. If you're trying to get yourself a racing rig or just a simulated rig for flying or anything else, go to Track Racer. They've got you covered with some of the best rig equipment if you're just starting, or if you're trying to finish up your rig, as well as if you'd like to get a discount for Track Racer, go message NAISCC on Facebook and they will give you a link of a discount code. Track Racer, refined gaming, as well as that of Race Car Graveyard. Race Car Graveyard, if you're looking to get yourself into the diecast collection game, well, they've got tons, anything from 1/24 with ratios or 1/64 NASCAR ratios. They've got brand new ones, used, or you can get custom diecasts. Just use the promo code RCGY and you can get 10% off on your next purchase. If you want more information from Race Car Graveyard, message them on Race Car Graveyard on Instagram. As the drivers have gotten finished with qualifying, they're getting stacked up, ready to go, and that means we get to take a look at the Hot Lap Designs qualifying results. And Zach, it is Vincent Sora on top of the board.
That it is. Vince Sora starting from that pole position. Alongside him is going to be Mark Whitley in the 77 machine, having a fantastic spot there for him. Third is going to be Brandon Colley in the 1 machine. Fourth is going to go to Danny Cochran. Fifth place is going to go to Max Foner there in the 51. Sixth is going to be Kyle Guildhouse. Seventh is going to be Jared Talmage. Eighth is going to go to John Forbes. Ninth is going to be Thomas Green. 10th is going to be Tyler Dingler. 11th is going to go to James Loveland. 12th is Tanner D. Johnston. 13th is Alexander Light. 14th is going to go to Trevor Earhart. 15th is going to go to Robert Schmock. 16th, Aaron Kralik. 17th is going to go to Sean Huffstutler. 18th is Dakota Moniz. 19th, Martin Morales Jr. 20th is Gregory Shaw. 21st, Cody Dorsey. 22nd is going to go to Christopher Norris. 23rd, Carl Poehler. 24th, Joshua Freed. And then the rest of the field not putting in a time, but Thomas Walter is starting 25th. 26th is Christopher Curick. 27th, John McAdams. 28th, Ethan Smith. 29th, Cody Reed. 30th, Joshua Pike. 31st, Jesse Thornick. 32nd, Anthony Ludy. 33rd, Jeffrey Stone. And 34th, rounding your field is Justin Starnes. As we got a packed field here tonight, Sam.
We do. 34 drivers getting ready to attack tonight's race. And like you said, Vincent Sora, Mark Whitley going to be your front row. And again, that is all your qualifying results, sponsored by Hot Lap Designs. If you'd like to get schemes and designs for iRacing for cars, suits, or helmets, go message Hot Lap Designs. We can do it. And gotta say, this season, if with this being the 5th race, it is coming off a week where things got pretty interesting last week, with Danny Cochran finding himself a win, but in a very controversial way, but also a very funny way from us up at the booth, hitting his teammate Vincent Sora, getting Sora out of sorts, and it was a giant collision of just wrecks, finishing out Las Vegas, giving Danny Cochran his 2nd win of the season. We'll see if the two can continue on his winning ways this season, as drivers are rolling, getting ready to get going green. Zach, any final thoughts before we start going?
Well, I'm telling everybody out there, the fans better buckle down, because it's about to get wild down here in the turn 1. Let's pay attention to how this plays out.
Drivers are rolling. We're waiting for the pace car. They're on the front straightaway, the Sam Posey straight. As the pace car rolls off, the drivers roar. It's green flag. Vincent Sora, Mark Whitley, the talk of the whole entire week. Who can survive this first corner as they're roaring down the straight into turn 1? Mark Whitley on the outside holding strong, as everyone else staying in line. And luckily, they're all surviving currently, which that's probably the biggest surprise so far. As up front, Mark Whitley able to find the lead, but Sora still fighting strong and has to fall behind the 77.
Up front, Whitley makes it past done. As you look back here, man, it is crazy filling out through all this pack. It is a wild mess here. Everybody makes it through this first part here. Now down to the chicane, the toughest part of the racetrack.
Chicane, where drivers, if they do not get on the brakes and on the binders quickly, could run over one another, and it already is happening. It's going to be the 13 as well as the 60 hard damage, and they're already all over one another. It's going to be that of Aaron Kralik, who's going to be the driver, spun around, and everyone sliding and trying to survive. Our first incident of the day. No surprise without that chicane.
Alexander Light, man, that is unfortunate for him. Also caught up in that mistake there. So that's going to be early damage for those drivers that get caught way back. But, man, it's just a wild race. You got to stay in it. You never know what you can get back from this.
Really, you don't. Lap 1 is already concluded, and we touched on it. These drivers can finish a lap in under a minute, but so much chaos can happen so quickly as we're watching Danny Cochran and also that of Kyle Gilderhouse going to be trying to figure out how to get through this binders as they're going into the chicane again, and this is going to be one of the most difficult spots all throughout the night. Not because you're just around other drivers, but because if you don't get on the brakes quick enough, or if you lock up the brakes, you can find yourself being spun around as up front, side by side. It was for the lead, but Vincent Sora is now to the lead. It's the battle for second. It's that of Brandon Colley and Mark Whitley.
Yeah, might have got a little help there from the 15, but I think the 77 was already making mistakes, sliding the rears into the corner. Now going to be side by side for that second place position. Whitley going to try to outbrake Brandon Colley. He's got the inside line here. Brandon Colley's going to give way to him as he's got teammate Max Foner behind, able to slide in as we ride on board with Max. Whitley, though, all over the racetrack from what I've seen, he's got to be careful with those tires. He cannot go out here and use them up too early. Vincent Sora, though, got a calm lead out front now.
Our top 8, all within 4 seconds of one another, but just one little slip up could cost you greatly as we're still running on board with the 51 going into this hard chicane. And you just see how the drivers have to get on the brakes. And we were talking about what to call those red, chicanes. I mean, some people call them turtles. We just call them disasters if you hit them, as it could ruin your whole entire truck if you find yourself hitting any of these little rumble strips. They could be your friend at one moment and your enemy the next.
It is Danny Cochran. He's setting up the pass out of the final corner. That's where you're going to see most of the passes being made, setting it up out of that final corner down here the Sam Posey straight into turn 1. He's going to outbrake Max Foner and get right ahead of him. Great move from the 4 there to get himself back up to his starting position.
That first corner known as the Big Bend, as then they go into the left-handers and just, Zach, this track, it looks like it's all about rhythm just based on how they're just whooping around.
Oh, it very much is so, Sam. A lot of right-handers, so you're turning a lot of times a similar way, so you're focusing always on that left side of the track, keeping it nice and calm on the exits here. But it is a very flowy track. It's so fast that you get back to that corner so quickly that you kind of don't lose that rhythm that you had, and it's called almost an oval feeling that you get with the rhythm around here. And right now, these drivers looking very good out here. I'm seeing a lot of drivers keeping it out on the track. Not too many issues so far.
Drivers further back have found issues as John McAdams is already parked for the day. Jesse Thordick had to teleport to his pit stall, and Jeffrey Stone is falling all the way back to 31st position and might be the first car that our leaders catch up to put a lap down as we watch the battle for 8th. Thomas Green, that of Trevor Earhart, all on top of one another. And watching practice, Trevor Earhart was one of the drivers that seemed to be having a lot of issues locking up his brakes, trying to find as much speed as possible. Right now, he's found a real smooth spot. He's just wandering and fading in and out, running a little bit faster than Thomas Green. I think you really got to stick with one another and hope that you can set up that last corner to try to make a pass.
Oh, you're so right about that, Sam. This last corner is the critical spot to pass. I feel like you can get a pass done there into that chicane, but the guy on the outside is going to have to give in, or you're going to have to be way far ahead in the braking zone to be able to take that spot from somebody. But here, down into this final corner, it's all about setting up your exit, and it's a very much a corner that is right on the edge all the way around. You're just trying to work the limits of that grip as you go around the corner. If you overstep it, the rear end kicks out and you lose all your momentum down the straight, and that's what you're trying to set up, is hopefully the person in front of you makes that mistake, you get the big run, and then down into turn 1, you're able to outbrake them there to get the move done.
You see the 20 getting out of pit road as we now ride on board with that of John Forbes, that of Loveland, and Loveland trying to figure out how to get by lap traffic. This is going to be one of the biggest factors of the night as the race rolls on. After about lap 10, everyone should be on top of one another, but that was a great move by Jesse Thordick to just get out of the way quickly as the battle for that of 9th place, it's raging on as it's John Forbes and Trevor Earhart as Forbes making the pass in the 11. What a season start that he's had. Second in points, and has been the only driver to finish in the top 10 every single race so far.
Yeah, he's actually been a driver, that didn't come from the Cup Series. He was a new driver to us here at Freaky Fast, and he's definitely made a good impression so far here, Sam. that 11 truck, he lost 2 spots there on the start. He did fall back to 10th in there, but now back up to that 9th spot. We'll see if he can charge back forward here as we ride on board with him. Up ahead is Thomas Green, who has made up 1 spot. But right now, our top 7, pretty much exactly where they started based on pace. It's very interesting to see how consistent these guys are being out front in that top 10 here.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically 4th back to 8th are on top of one another, really all split up by about a 1.5 seconds, and that's where things can get very dangerous, as we're actually going to move up to that battle for 5th place, riding on board with Max Foner, and he is swamped in. Contact made. There goes Foner around.
Oh no, he's backwards in the grass. Gonna have to try to get it spun around here without causing any more issues. Good job by Foner getting that turned around, man.
He was wheeling it, trying to get spun around, and luckily didn't overcorrect when he got around, and now everyone has to reset, as the contact was between that of the 51 and the 29 of Kyle Guildhouse, and Guildhouse, he's have to hold off that of Jarrett Talmadge, who is coming with a lot of speed as well.
Yeah, they are. Those 2 teammate trucks coming very quickly, and what I've seen there from looking back at that, looks like the 29 of Guildhouse there, he got into that curve and bounced up into Foner, and that is just tough break for Max, just minding his own business, and gets kind of clipped there and took it out, as now the 29, like you said, trying to hold off that 83 of Talmadge, and also our cup winner from this past weekend of Thomas Green.
Yeah, I mean, watching these drivers right now, listening over the radios, a lot of bickering about that incident that just went down. Frustration for Max Foner, who was back in the 14th, and now gets to work his way forward as the teammates of that Talmadge in green. They continue to race forward and on, and they're all staying single file currently, but if we drop back to 24th position, you'll find that of Aaron Kralik. Kralik's been one of the drivers who was caught up in the first lap incident at the chicane. 0-1, been able to move up from 32nd position up to now 23rd, and getting aggressive, and gotta be careful, as Freed's gonna be also a lot contacted. This is something that the drivers, you've only got a little bit of incident points of wiggle room. You've got 28 incident points. If you get that many or more than that, you will actually be disqualified from this race. So don't want to be making too much contact into these corners.
Yeah, and these guys right here about 10 seconds up the road from our leader, Vincent Sora. So already 10 laps into this race, he's about caught the back of this train here, and that's going to be Jeffrey Stone in the 18 machine. He's right behind Anthony Ludi. Those two are kind of battling for position. But Sora, he's closing it so quickly with his pace, about 2 seconds a lap. He'll be there by the next start of the lap.
And we're now going to move up to 7th, as it's going to be that of Thomas Green off track and has to get back onto course. I'm going to relook and see what, I mean, you can relook, Zach, but I think there might have been contact between the 3 and the 69.
Yeah, it actually was, they were passing Christopher Couric there, and then John Forbes a little bit into the back bumper. He slides up past the 29 of Kyle Guildhouse, and that's going to shove him into the grass there, and that's what we see to get back on track. So a little bit of help there from the 11 with the lap car there involved, also the 69 Christopher Couric.
Well, that's the biggest thing is, you touched on it, Zach. This track is so narrow. I mean, is there even a safe place to get by lap traffic?
Not necessarily. I mean, you know, there's enough width there to get by somebody. The whole goal is just knowing where they'll be, and judging that with the way this track is very hard. There's a lot of switchbacks, especially here into this left-hander we're riding on board with. You want to stay tight to the left hand here to open up this right-hander, where a lot of times guys that aren't running the perfect line will wash out there, and it kind of creates a little bit of a sticky situation where you don't know what's there offline and what line you can pass them in. But Vincent Sora already gotten by 2 lappers right here. He's done a good job to make it nice and clean, but he's got a big train up ahead of him. This is where the true test is going to come in for this 15.
Yeah, he's going to have about 3 cars in front of him, that being Martin Morales, Cody Dorsey, as well as Joshua Freed. We're going to be those 3 drivers that Vincent Sora is going to have to figure out how to get by. And, you know, Vincent Sora, he's had to find patience for this 15, and I think that's what tonight is all going to be about. What is your patience level and your aggressive level? Because you got to find that equal balance here tonight of when do you have to make that strike, as Freed's going to be off course in front of our leader, and he's trying to figure out how to get back on track, and this is when things get dangerous.
Yeah, look at this 2 up ahead. Here's the 9 of Cody Dorsey. That's another incident right there to the 8 and 9. both almost involved in an incident there. Now Brandon Colley's gonna have to get by both of them too as they're getting back on track. So this is the big thing. Like you said, you want to be aggressive, Sam, but you also got to keep patience, because if you go in there too deep, you never know what situation might come around the next corner.
And now it's going to be Mark Morales and Cody Reed that Vincent Sora is trying to get by. I mean, looking at the field, everyone's starting to spread out from one another until you get to where our leader is, I mean, this is when things kind of get tricky, is that corner that we talked about, last corner of the track. Get a great run down the front stretch, and you can just start to pull away. As you see, watching that of Brandon Colley, third place currently, trying to figure out how to get up to the 77 of Mark Whitley. And yes, Vincent Sora's dealing with lap traffic, but so is the rest of the field, as they're all in line trying to figure out how to get by one another.
Yeah, this is the big thing that I wanted to see too. Is he going to create an accordion effect? You know, when Vincent Sora gets to a certain group of traffic, is he going to get stuck behind him to allow Whitley and Colley here to close that gap, as it's only about 6 seconds back to Brandon Colley here. He got held up a pretty good amount there that last lap. At some point, you know, you get tired of getting held up, so I think we may see some of these leaders get in some trouble at some point with getting a little bit over aggressive trying to make up time. But throughout the field, you know, majority of the guys are keeping on the track, but we are definitely seeing a good bit of incidents out there with a few slow trucks.
Oh, absolutely. We've touched on the fact Vincent Sora catching up to lap traffic, but some of the closest racing action of drivers that are racing with one another, the battle for 8th place back in 9th. You got Trevor Earhart trying to catch up to that of Thomas Green, as really our top 10. They've been trying to keep it close with one another as well. They're having to deal with this lap traffic, and Zach, we kind of touched on it. We were talking last night. I think being the leader wasn't really the safest place we thought. I mean, we knew in those first 10 laps it was going to be the safest place, but now with lap traffic everywhere looming, now it's really, there's no safe place on the track.
There is not one safe place at all, because, you know, there's so many corners that you really are just like setting up the corner before the next corner. So if you run into somebody making an incident there, it kind of throws you all off the loop. You never know what you're going to come up to here in this traffic. And we are seeing some good battles throughout the field. One guy really climbing up through the field, I just noticed, and kind of catching up to the back of this battle right here for position is Gregory Shaw. He's from 20th to 11th, so he's already made up 9 spots and looking to go forward in that 66.
Yeah, making some great moves for himself, and he's falling right behind. And, you know, seeing Gregory Shaw, I mean, he's been working and trying to get faster and better each and every race, and he's trying to figure out how to get aggressive here. Looks like he was poking his nose and just wasn't close enough on that first corner on the right bend, the big bend going right, and now the 66 has to try to recoup it and be patient here. But man, this is one of those things where you just watch these drivers, road course racing, where you just don't know when they're going to decide to make the push and move forward. But at the same time, oh boy, God, a lot of cars. The 8's going to be into the wall, almost collecting that of Earhart, Love, and Shaw. Whew, scary moments, lap traffic getting spun around, and we can add another car to our DNF. Alexander Light is parked it for the day.
Yeah, and I think the driver who got caught up in that was the 29 of Kyle Guildhouse, I believe. He actually had an incident where he lost it off track, and that's what the 8 lost it, trying to miss him. So a non-lapper getting an incident and having a little bit of a collision there with the 8. And Joshua Free, though, that was his engine, so he's going to have to get a fast repair on it.
Yeah, and he was already in the middle of the field, so he's going to have to wait for his tow completely and then use his fast repair. Thomas Green, off course, was up in 9th place. Up in 7th, has fallen down to 11th for the 3.
Yeah, he just fell down now the leaderboard there, but also I think our second, our third, our 4th, and 5th place guys, they're all closing up, especially even John Forbes there in 6th, because I think they had some lap traffic there. They lost a good portion of time there that last lap to our leader, Vincent Sora. So I believe Whitley, Colley, and Cochran here close it up for those top 3 positions.
Cochran's still dealing with it, as well as Talmadge. They are trying to figure out how to get by the 70 and the 71, that being Joshua Pike and Carl Pooler, that are kind of the drivers that are stalling out currently of our front 4. They are trying their best not to get caught up into trouble, but they just keep on trying to be patient here. See heavy smoke in front of the 24, and an engine is gone. That's Dakota.
Yeah, Dakota Moniz there, major damage to that 5 machine. Looks like the 24 Morales there involved in that too. And it was Morales was spun up in the corner ahead, and really that blind corner when you come around it, Moniz couldn't see with the smoke. And just unfortunate contact.
Oh, Talmadge,
24-5.
as well as Pike contact, and it's almost a gridlock. Currently, the 83 heavily damaged, so is the 11, and it's right at the, oh no, it's a complete lockdown as they go through up the chicane.
And this is what we were waiting for. These are the incidents that happen. Look at the damage on the 83 machine. That thing is tore up. And gotta be patient in traffic. I'm unsure what exactly happened to him. I'll have to go back and figure that out, Sam, for us.
Yes, right now we're riding on board with that of Gregory and Shaw trying to figure out how to get by that of Thomas Green. But that of Talmadge, he's going to stay out with that front end damage and hoping that the 83's engine does not blow and cause any more issue for himself. But man, still a lot of heavy racing going on as drivers are just trying not to run over one another. As here's a replay of what happened to the 83 and the 70 heading to the chicane, and Pike went high, showed that he was going to give room, and then came straight back down. Oh, you hate to see that from a lap car going into a lead lap driver.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate incident there as the 29 or the 83 goes around, major damage, and probably neither of them wanted to be involved in that, but that's just the tightness of this racetrack. It's so hard to get away from your competition, and Talmadge going to go around and lose out.
Now it's almost a waiting game. Who's going to be the next driver to be caught up in an incident? Everyone's trying to stay as patient and as clean as they can. But Zach, road course racing, it's all about consistency, but someone's going to slip up at some moment of overshooting, locking up their brakes, and everyone's just hoping that it doesn't happen around them.
No, exactly. That's what you're hoping it does happen. Is I'm seeing more drivers go off the track again up here in the chicane, but it's so hard to stay in your rhythm like you're talking about when you're passing these lap trucks. You're getting thrown offline, having to do things that you normally wouldn't do. As we ride on board with the 19 of Tyler Dingler, he's done a good job there, still in that top 15 there, as he has fell back from that 10th position, but he's still running, and that's the key, I think. This race is going to be a race of attrition and staying on the track. We'll see who can pull it off. Right now through the first 20 laps, though, a lot of people already caught up, as 17 drivers only on the lead lap.
Yeah, and everyone is just hoping that they don't get in any more trouble as we ride on board with the 19, just seeing the drivers in front of them, that being Max Foner, as well as, that is actually the 69 of Kirk that's just hoping to just keep limping around. Kirk's been doing a great job staying out of the way, and I think, there was a couple of mentalities, different strategies that was being thrown out. Hey, why not just start on on pit road at the start of this race, just stay and run your own line, let everyone else make mistakes, and see who DNFs out of this thing, and what positions you gain there. You see that of Schmuck also running further back in the field. Man, this is holding on.
Oh man, that was the big drift there, but I believe it was the 60 Robert Schmuck there again. So yeah, that was a big drift through in there in the chicane. And you see those curbs. Those curbs are so detrimental. They'll really upset the balance of the truck and just kind of fling it off to whatever direction it wants to send you. So got to be careful going through that chicane. It's definitely a little interesting one. Very, very slow at that. Then uphill, putting the power down. That's a tricky section.
Yeah, as we looked, that was the 18 of Stone, who I think we had a couple of drivers that, we had on our mind of were they going to struggle here at road course racing. And we really weren't sure. I think for Stone, he was kind of a huge question mark for me. I was not sure if he was going to be finding speed as the 71 going to be spun around. Carl Pooler struggles for himself.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of help there from maybe even his teammate Gregory Shaw there. So as Gregory's going out to lap him there, he gets into the back of his teammate Carl Poole, and I think there's some more smoke up ahead at the chicane.
This has been the danger zone for a lot of drivers, and everyone's trying to figure out how to get through the whooping sections here, known as No Name Straight, and certainly nobody is safe on that straightaway.
Yeah, that straightaway, I think we're gonna have to name it after tonight, because that's been Destruction Alley here at Lime Rock. They just cannot seem to get away from each other there, and it really makes sense that that would be the space, because it's kind of a high speed, very tight and narrow part of the racetrack where you got to go right up to that chicane and you got to get a hard braking zone, and you kind of got a little bit of wheel in the truck, so it makes it a tight area for braking zones. And when you're going through there side by side, you're going to have a lot of incidences. We jump up to the 51 Foner. He's starting to rebound a little bit here, Sam, too. I believe he's up to that 13th position now.
Yeah, that has been the big thing, is trying to find a little bit more space for this 51 to find the speed to be moving forward. He's got to be careful, as he's got Norris, also Tyler Dingler and Walter just lingering behind, waiting to make the pass. And as we've been continuing to push forward, we have passed stage 1 already. In a blink of an eye, we were so caught up in all the action that was going on. Lap 20 is already past us, and we're already on lap 23 with 23 laps to go. We're halfway through this race. Only 2 DNFs so far, which I gotta say, big props to the drivers out here. Thought there was gonna be a lot more carnage. Everyone's been being nice, playing as nice as they can, I should say. As we watch the battle currently for second place, it's Collie, Whitley, right on top of one another as they're heading to the second to last bend.
This is where he's got to set him up if he's got the power and the tires to do it. Just not enough run out of the final corner. Maybe he'll have it here. The draft helping him get closer. Does he outbrake the 77? Is going to look. Maybe make him make a mistake there. When you poke that nose out, sometimes it makes the driver ahead of you say, oh, I got to brake a little bit later to make it. And Whitley, I can see he's sliding the rear end around a lot here. 22 to go. If they want to take it to the end on these tires, he's going to have to be very careful with that left rear.
And also for that of Mark Whitley and Brandon Colley, if they find themselves getting too aggressive, contacting with one another, Danny Cochran is right there just waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake and pounce on the position and get a podium spot.
No, exactly right, Sam. I mean, even if Vincent Sora, these two right here, this could be the race for the win. There is no question that nobody is safer in this race. You could be running back here, John Forbes in 5th. I mean, it's anybody's game right now. You have to keep it on the track. That's the name of the game, and just staying out of contact zones with drivers. As Whitley starts to push away there, as you see, he was flirting with a little bit of disaster, sticking the tire off on the curb, but he did a great lap there to get a little bit of the pressure off here with 21 to go.
Yeah, 21 to go, and the field certainly is at moments spreading away, but this course only 1.5 miles in length, so even when you get a little bit of fresh air, you're soon to be catching up to lap traffic very quickly. As to give note on some of the drivers that have been having some poor luck in pit road, had already used a fast repair. Joshua Pike is in 29th position as they continue to battle on to see who's going to be in that lead position, as Collie doing everything in his power to try to get by lap traffic, but when you're so close, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, we're riding on Bark too, and Collie behind him is just beating the back bumper off as they're stuck behind Carl Poole here. And the question is, we're past halfway now too, Sam. If we're gonna see somebody decide to make a pit stop for tires here at some point, it'll be interesting to see. But no fuel worries here, so I think all these guys are gonna elect to just stay out. I don't see you making up the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at some of the drivers, Vincent Sora currently running about 1.5 seconds off of what his best time was, but at the same time, there is lap traffic around him that's causing them to have to be a little bit woed up from one another. But as you can see, the speed difference as we see the 15 going through the chicane, and right now, I mean, they're running close, and then the times are completely off. It's all about, I think, catching lap traffic at the right time if you're going to be gaining time or losing.
Yeah, you can see just the difference between the laps. I mean, it's back and forth in different ways. It's just how you catch the traffic. It's one of those things that you can see up ahead of Vincent. He's got 3 trucks directly ahead of him. That being Tanner Johnston there, and also Thomas Walter, and they're going to be right here getting past Keurig also there. He's going to go down another lap, but doing a good job though. Vincent Soares, he's keeping this a pretty similar gap while also maintaining no damage on that nose yet. He's done a good job of being patient.
Yeah, and still having to figure out how to get by Tanner Johnson, Thomas Walter, and Zach. I mean, when you're going through the field, you catch the back of the lanes, and as a leader, you can get by those guys pretty quick. But we are now past halfway. I mean, half the drivers that have been put down, a lap down. We're now starting to get to that upper level of drivers. How much harder does it get trying to lap down these guys once you're trying to get into the top 15 of drivers?
Yeah, that's where it gets a little bit different. The guys up ahead of them right here, looking at the pace, they're only about a second and a half off of what the leader's running, and that is where it gets more difficult. If you really need about 2 to 3 seconds of pace advantage to really make passes easy. Here's you'll go to inside of Tanner Johnson. Johnson's going to be probably pretty nice to him here, let him go on through. That's the one thing you're hoping, though, Sam, is that everybody's nice. They say, okay, you're the leader. I don't need to fight you. The more I fight you, the more I'm going to let the guy ahead of me get up the road. I'll just fall in line and maybe figure out something even behind them. But the farther you do get up that leaderboard, the more they're going to fight you and the more faster they're going to be. It's going to get tougher, and they may start to lose time because of that.
Oh, you were talking about drivers coming into pit road, and drivers on the front stretch, the 00 in 21st position, sideways on the front stretch, trying to get straight once again. But first driver into pit road that I'm seeing, it's going to be Cody Reed, getting some tires, fuel, and back out there. One of the first drivers to come into pit road that didn't have an engine or damage issue is the 25 that's getting back out on track.
Very interesting strategy call for him. Maybe he feels like those tires are just too eaten up here, and he feels like this is the best time to go ahead and put a new set on, see if he can make a difference with that new set of rubber. And if you feel like that's the key to you keeping it on track, personally, going to pit road is going to be the big win. You don't want to end up in these barriers because they're very close to the walls here at this racetrack. You can end your race at any time. You feel like you need new tires, you might as well come down.
As drivers are still in line, tons of racing action all over the place, but we still have to say thank you to all of our sponsors, but we're going to go to non-stop coverage side by side. Thanks for watching the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard. We'll be back in just a few here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard. As well, big thanks to that at ButtKicker and McConey Setup Shop. We'll touch more on them as this race progresses, but Zach, we saw some big wrecks while we were under caution break.
Yeah, major consequences there. It looks like Christopher Keurig in the 69 is going to rake off the final corner there as we go to break. And Mark Whitley, our second place man, is going to get taken out in that incident. And looks like Mark, I cannot see him on the leaderboard number. He's dropped down to 15, so he must have brought it into pit road and had to get that damage worked on. Maybe too much front end damage and had to get a new, the cooling issue there that he possibly had going on. So, man, big moment for Mark. That's going to put him down now a lap down and back in 15.
Yeah, and also another driver that just came to pit road after being involved in the incident, James Loveland, going to be getting service done as the CR leader still trying to figure out how to get it by all of the lap traffic. Currently watching that of Jared Talmadge as well as the 99 of Trevor Earhart. And Talmadge with that major front end damage. I mean, Zach, I'm surprised the 83 is still running, but Earhart just staying patient. We've seen the 99 be fast at road courses as Dakota Moniz is going to be staying low and out of the way. But the 99 we've seen in other leagues for the Underdog Racing League, he's been fast at road courses, but here tonight, top 5 currently for the 99.
Yeah, a good drive up for him. Didn't have the greatest qualifying time there. He was really quick in practice, so I think maybe the qualifying there just didn't go as well for him, just didn't get the lap he wanted. But he's drove up through the field, and like you said, he's an experienced road course racer. We've seen him here on Freaky Fast Broadcast before win races in this truck, especially. You know, we haven't seen him win the Xfinity car yet at a road course, but this truck here, he's really shown to be very, very quick in. So right now running good, but Talmadge, I mean, I don't know how he's still going with that damage, especially Whitley having much less. You would think Talmadge would be the one that has this pit there, but Jarrett keeping it out there right now in 4th, doing a great job.
Yeah, because he's had that damage for over now 10 laps, almost 15 laps, and still running well for himself. And now the drivers that are trying to move forward, that have got the fast repair. I'm really concerned, you know, for some of the drivers. I'm not concerned. I'm curious on Mark Whitley. He's running about a second and a half faster than the leaders. Yes, he's over 50-plus seconds back, but hey, if he could find a little bit more speed, Mark Whitley could be a driver that could cut his way through and find himself with a top 10 finish.
No, he really could, Sam. And I was just thinking that myself about, you know, the new tires he just put on, how he'll probably be able to charge up here a good portion of this field. I mean, right now, he's 58 seconds behind the leaders. He's already got past Vincent Sora there. The big thing now is up ahead of him, everybody is pretty close, actually. He could possibly see himself driving in these last 11 laps, maybe even up to a top 7, maybe a top 8. I could definitely see that happen.
Currently, only 12 drivers are still on the lead lap as Vincent Sora, 11 laps, come to 10 laps go, and Mark Whitley spun out. Mark Whitley is wrecked into the infield, and his day is done. What a thought could have been a top 10 finish is snuffed out in an instant.
Oh, man, and that's the second time they're into that inside wall. The first time missing the 69, now all of his own doing. That is a tough thing to see, and, ooh, I believe the 3. Oh, no, he's back actually on the racetrack.
3, yeah.
Yeah, he's back. I was just making sure he didn't get the good old incident limit there. As you see, some guys could be nearing that. Also, one driver I know that just had a major incident too. I'm unsure with who. I got to go back and check it out, Sam, here for us. But the 2 here as we hop on Danny Cochran. Look at the damage on this 2 truck, and he's actually just holding on now, losing time to our leaders.
That crinkled on the left bumper, and a lot of damage he's trying to just hold on for. And Danny Cochran currently in 3rd, and a great run for himself. Going to be having to deal with fresh tires of James Loveland that's going to be coming behind. He's also right on board with 1 Brandon Colley. Colley over 12 and a half seconds back from that of Vincent Sora, and trying to find just a little bit more speed in the 1. But a 2nd place finish, not bad for this team that's really looking just to have solid finishes for this regular season so we can make the playoffs.
Oh, I think if you told Brandon that he'd have a top 2 finish here tonight at Lime Rock Park at the beginning of this season, he would have said, you're crazy. Because he personally, you know, he's a teammate of mine. He's not been the best road course racer. He's been a consistent, been able to put down fast times, but his consistency hasn't been there. And tonight he's shown that's what's got him here to this point. He's able to run very, very well. As we look at the 2 teammates here battling, the 83 of Jarrett Talmadge and the 3 of Thomas Green, you know, these 2 are going to do a good battle here for a top 5 and top 4 position.
And as they were battling and getting by, I actually saw the 77 Mark Whitley has been able to get back out on track. Oh no! Car going
Walter
sideways. That's Thomas Walter going around and now backing up, and he's in a terrible spot trying to loop it back around.
Yeah, that's exactly where Mark Morales spun earlier, and or Max Foner actually got spun earlier and had to get spun around. So good job by Walter there getting spun around. Luckily, no too much traffic there. There's Kralix coming in the background to get that going again. But yeah, just lost the rear there in that corner. Very easy to do. Maybe even hit. Maybe made a mistake shifting.
You know, even watching the battling that's been going on up front in the top 5, there's a couple battles in the top 10 that have been looking pretty great, but the 0-1 of Aaron Kralik, who's been doing a great job just rebounding, was part of the first incident of the day, now up to 17th, and trying to capitalize on another position with Thomas Walter being spun around. This is another spot to be grabbed, as again, only 11 drivers left on the lead lap with 8 laps to go. Gotta say, Vincent Sora putting on a clinic here. But looking at the drivers that are inside of the top 10, big shout out to the drivers that are battling for 8th position, that being Robert Schmock as well as Gregory Shaw. Huge racing for them, but they have been battling right on top of one another for the past 5 laps. And Shaw looks like he's a little bit faster, but just has been out finding the right speed, and he's been catching up to the 60 at really bad points on the racetrack.
Yeah, you got to catch them at the right points. Like you said, you know, not every corner is a passing zone available for you to dive it up the inside. But Shaw, we know one thing about Shaw. He's definitely going to send it here if he gets a shot. Schmock, though, doing a great job to get the runs off of these corners to not give him the chance to really even have a shot down the inside here. Is this final corner the most crucial one about putting the power down? Schmock going to do a good job here, but it's going to be a little run back here from Shaw. We'll see how generous he is here in the braking zone. Looks like Schmock will do a good job getting there. Oh, he missed the corner.
No, overshoots a little bit high, and here comes Shaw on the inside. 66, not able to make the pass and capitalize, but still keeping it close, as now they're going to be taking another here, just wooing back and forth, trying to figure out where to make the pass. And Gregory Shaw's trying to make a pass at the chicane multiple times. We'll see if the 66 tries it again.
We'll see what he does here. 6 to go. Does he get to him? No, he does it here. And we'll see if he can set some up to get close, though. Catches that curve. That's going to hop him up, lose a little bit of traction there. That's going to give the 60 a little bit of breathing room down here into the penultimate corner.
A little bit of sliding up, and the 60 almost into the grass. Here comes Shaw. Coming to the last corner, hard on the brakes, trying not to overshoot it, trying to get as much speed as possible, but once again, catching the 60 at the worst points, not able to capitalize on the speed. Needs to find just a little bit more of a run for himself as these guys are battling along. Lap traffic hindering one of our drivers in the top 3. 3rd place runner Danny Cochran been struggling as he's got a ton of lap traffic that has been going up into the grass, and hard contact between themselves as the two trying just to get by.
Yeah, he's got James Loveland here, a pretty quick lap car. He's trying to get by now and having a tough time of it. See, there Loveland goes straight on by down the straightaway. Now Cochran going to settle in here. He lost a lot of time there. I mean, that was a 1:01 lap time, and that was his second lap of the day. That was over a minute, so got caught up very harshly there, and that let Brandon Colley get away as he was caught up in that traffic a couple laps before that, and he lost a generous amount of time.
Battle that we were watching for 8th place. Finally, Gregory Shaw has completed that pass, and now going to be trying to just pull away. You look at the rest of the field and where drivers are, with how hard the battle for 8th was going on. Tyler Dingler, who we've seen a couple of times here tonight, as he's now caught to the back bumper of this battle for 8th place.
Yeah, great to see Tyler in this 19 machine back here. He's caught up to Robert Schmock. He may have a chance to up his position here in the standings as, man, entered tonight here on the 10th position in that grid. He dropped back a few spots to the beginning. He's been able to drive himself up, keep himself on the lead lap, but not too far behind us is our leader, Vincent Sora, as these guys are on the tail end of this lead lap here.
Yeah, Sora's got to figure it out, and Shaw now going to be taking the outer side, and Zach, taking that outer groove, going to be losing a position, but it seems to be a spot where we've seen a couple of drivers that feel like, hey, we can't make that chicane, they go outside.
Yeah, a lot of guys elect to do it. Well, I can't make it. I'll probably lose more time by hitting the curb, so they just let it go out to the outside. I mean, it's a tactical decision, definitely one that's interesting, but it's working out for Shaw there. He did lose the spot, the Schmock, but he's able to keep it on track. He misses way deep into one. That is, man, he's out there in the boondocks.
And he's going to be passed by Vincent Sora and plenty of other drivers. And Shaw, who was battling him at one moment, was in 8th, now back to 11th, which we touched on the fact that Gregory Shaw has been very aggressive in the 95, going to be spun around out of Anthony Ludi after a little bit of rubbing between himself and Shaw. And gosh, I mean, all these drivers, they're running out of time. 3 laps to go. You got to gain every position possible here. As in 5th place, and our leader now, seeing where all the passes are being made all over the place. And Vincent Sora, luckily, has not been caught up with any lap traffic issues, but he's got just 2 more laps to go once he gets to the line.
Yeah, he got past the 00 Ethan Smith, who's been having a tough time, and he's almost took out that 19 of Tyler Dingler there. And luckily Dingler was able to make it through there, and he'll be trying to fight for that 8th position now on Robert Schmock. But yeah, Sora just having a smooth race here tonight, Sam. 18 seconds back to Brandon Colley. He's done a fantastic job. Look at that truck too, nice and pristine, no over pushing it, and he kept his truck clean here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this race, it's been Vincent Sora just up front pulling away. And there were a few scary moments where he almost got caught up into someone else's issues, but like you said, pristine is that 15 machine. He's going through the chicane, coming closer and closer to the white flag. And this course is so short and small, and you really don't know when, you know, you don't rarely see teams coming, leagues coming to Lime Rock Park. But man, this has been a pleasure to watch as Vincent Sora coming around the final bend, coming to the straightaway, coming to your Cosmic Candle. 1 to go. It's Vincent Sora with the lead, but in front of him, battling currently for that 8th place position, Vincent Sora's got to be hoping that Schmock and Dangler don't make contact or cause any issues in front of him.
Yeah, he's hoping that this stays nice and clean, and no reason to pressure here too, Sam, for him. He needs to just keep it nice and clean to the end. Got a huge gap back to Brandon Colley. If he just brings it back to this checker flag, he'll be good. But that battle is definitely heating up ahead of him there. As you see the 19 and the 60 trying to get something done. Dingler's going to have another lap, though, because they're not a lap down. They're going to have their white flag here as they cross the line next time by. They're side by side.
And this is exactly what Vincent Sora does not want to see. Side-by-side racing as Dingler goes off course. He's going to be in the grass. And the 15's hoping that he doesn't come back into the racing surface. And doesn't. Vincent Sora holding on and holding his breath. But Schmock almost looping it. But stay straight. Vincent Sora looking and will grab his 2nd win of the season. And whew, was that a heart chasing just final 3 corners there for Vincent Sora, and he just wants to get off this course now.
Yeah, you know, he had probably a lot of moments in that race that are going to remind him about that, but wow, what a crazy scenario there for him. Is now the last few drivers round out the final of the corner. Brandon Colley's going to cross the line for 2nd, and here comes Danny Cochran. Look at that damage, going to bring him in 3rd position.
And you saw there Thomas Green trying to get back on the throttle to get by his teammate, but that little bit of a move, he's going to hit the rumble strip. Here comes out of Trevor Earhart into the 71 and into the 29. Last corner, carnage, and more drivers having shot to gain positions as Guildhouse blown up. He needs to get moving, or Robert Schmock is going to take that position. He can't move. The 60 out of the final corner, last lap, he'll get 7th place.
Oh, man, what a crazy ending there. And I tell you what, you know, at least for Kyle Guildhouse's sake, he's going to finish 8th due to the fact that the last car on the lead lap, but he is stuck in the wall there. And yeah, that 29, he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, he's trying to get moving, but everyone else has already finished the race. Kyle Guildhouse going to be getting 8th position, and whew, drama all over top to bottom. But it was Vincent Sora getting the victory here, as Sora got to burn it down just a little bit, and he'll drift it around, having some fun here at Lime Rock Park. As Sora gets to burn it down, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll be talking to our top 3, Vincent Sora, Brandon Colley, and Danny Cochran here at Lime Rock Park on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the NAISCC Truck Series presented by Race Car Graveyard, as well presented by McConey Setup Shop. Use the promo code FFB10 to get 10% off at McConey Setup Shop and get some 10% off on all their setups, as well as ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Use the promo code FreakyFast20, Freaky with 2 E's, FreakyFast20 for 20% off. As we've made it to the post-race show, cannot believe how this race went away in a blink of an eye, but great racing all the way through. And in third place, it was Danny Cochran. We'll bring the two up into the booth. Danny, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, man.
Well, it seemed like all that practice you put in really helped you here tonight. Third place finish. Man, how does this one feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it, really. You know, it's I broke a sweat here. It wasn't time-wise, it wasn't the longest race we've done, but as far as, you know, the endurance and the activity of it all, it was pretty stressful. But it was a blast working the lap traffic tonight. You know, you normally don't get that at road courses. It's usually 10 seconds between every car out there, but I believe it was Zach that I talked to last night said it's the Bristol of road courses, and that's the truth, man. It was a blast out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, how hard was it trying to get by lap traffic? I mean, it looked up from us in the booth. Some guys got out of the way, and others were just fighting at all times.
No, I mean, yeah, you know, they everybody done a pretty good job for the most part. I can't really complain. I did get hit there once, but that he was trying to get out of the way and he just lost control of it, came back on the track. I'm not mad at the guy over it. It happens. But yeah, you know, for the most part, everybody was pretty accommodating for the leaders. I can't say anything about Collie or Vincent. I don't know the woes they might have had with it, but for me personally, I can't really complain. I think everybody done a pretty bang up job tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, this race went very quickly, and the next race we're going to is Darlington. How are you feeling about that course?
I like Darlington in the trucks. I usually do pretty well there, it seems. But in regards to how we all do there, a little bit iffy. I don't know how it's going to go because it is a more difficult course. But if it's anything like tonight, I'm not worried about it at all because everybody done an exceptional job tonight.
Well, Danny, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Hot Lap Designs, Buddy's Custom Baits, Vincent Sora for getting another CSR machine in Victory Lane tonight. You love to see it. And any of my friends or family that's watching, but of course to Vince because I'm happy to see him bounce back after what happened last week there. So yeah, and lastly, shout out to you guys. We really appreciate it, and we think y'all do a super job.
Well, Danny, gotta say congratulations on a top 3 finish, and good luck next week.
Thank you, appreciate it.
As that was Danny Cochran in the 2, as we are now going to be moving that of Brandon Colley up in, who got second place here tonight. Brandon, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
How's it going, Sam?
Well, road course racing, and usually when you're around lap cars, your bad luck strikes. But here tonight, second place finish. How you feeling about it?
Well, considering the close calls I had throughout that race and knowing what normally happens to me, I'm feeling pretty good. It's pretty much a win for me. I'd like that one more spot, but I'll take this.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you qualified well today in third, and then you had to march your way, got moved up one position. But how was lap traffic for yourself?
Apparently, it was a lot harder for me than it was for Vinny. I mean, as the leader, they're probably letting him by pretty good, but it seemed like either I was just catching him in really bad spots or, I'm not sure. But it was definitely difficult. And luckily, not really any contact. Like I said, it's some close calls, but it was a lot of fun. It kind of kept us yo-yoing back and forth throughout the top 3 or 4 there and gave us an opportunity to get to the guy ahead of us that's able to stretch out.
Well, Brandon, road course racing has now come to a close here tonight. We go to Darlington next week. How you feeling about Darlington?
Well, my 2 best tracks are Atlanta and Darlington. So this is probably one on the schedule that I've had penciled. Is if I can get a win anywhere, it's going to be Darlington. So I'm looking forward to it. Name of the game there, just keeping it out of the wall. And if I can do that, I'm pretty sure I'll be talking to you guys again.
For sure. Well, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Gotta shout out to you guys first of all, Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Gonna be excited to go back and watch this one and just see the calamity throughout the entire field here, and see how the race went for everybody else. Great broadcast. Everybody the video, share it, subscribe. I want to see subscribers. Also got to thank my team at Cat 5, Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, Cedric Hunter, Larry Yingling. They have taught me a tremendous amount about road coursing. Normally, this was, the road course race is the one place that I dreaded going to. But now I've finally picked up the pace a bit and can contend a little while anyway. So I got to thank them, of course, and everybody in the league. They worked pretty well together this week and doing a lot of practice just to make sure this went as flawlessly as it possibly could, considering the track. And I think it turned out okay.
It certainly did. Brandon Colley with the second place finish here tonight. And Brandon, good luck next week.
All right, thank you guys.
As now we head to Victory Lane with Vincent Sora. Vincent, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you got the pole position and you pulled away and then you saw some lap traffic. How was your day with lap traffic here?
A little hectic, but kind of fun at the same time. It was a little nerve-wracking getting through all those guys for all 40 or for all the 45 laps we had tonight, but it's kind of fun at the same time. It's kind of like a video game there.
Yeah, I mean, you lapped everyone except for the top 8. I mean, you were wheeling it today. What was something that you were just focusing on to make sure that you were staying on course?
Just kind of watching the gap and knowing that I didn't really have a threat from behind and just trying to get to the finish, not make any mistakes.
Well, this is going to be your second win of the season for this 5th race. And man, for yourself, how are you feeling about the bit of this season? We're only in race 5, but still a lot of racing before playoffs. How are you feeling about Darlington and Eldora coming up as our next 2 races?
I'm feeling really good. I'm really fast at Darlington. It's one of my better tracks. Eldora is kind of an unknown. I won the little off-season kind of practice race we did there. It's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I think that's going to be one of them just kind of for fun. Everybody's going for it, and we could get a random winner there and a lot of crazy stuff that happens. So should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It certainly should. Well, Vinny, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
You guys for broadcasting, Danny Cochran, Hot Lap Designs for the beautiful paint schemes every week, and everybody in the league. A lot of fun.
That's Vincent Sora getting the 15 to Victory Lane, and good luck next week at Darlington.
Thanks.
Well, now we get to take a look at our finishing results of the night, as it was a hectic one for sure. Drama from top to bottom. We saw wrecks in the first lap and on the last lap of the night, but it all got topped off with Vincent Sora in the 15 in Victory Lane after getting the pole position, went coast to coast and got it done with Brandon Colley in second, Danny Cochran in third, with that of Jarrett Talmadge in fourth, Thomas Green in fifth, Trevor Earhart in sixth, and what a shocker to see Robert Schmock going to be getting a 7th place finish. Kyle Guildhouse, after getting collected in a wreck, going to be finishing out in 8th. Tyler Dangler going to get 9th, and Max Foner in 10th. And as we look at the rest of the results, I mean, Zach, what a night for a lot of these drivers, but for some, probably hope for a little bit better. As you know, I look at 12th finishing driver John Forbes, last driver that was trying to finish in the top 10 every single race. Race 5, it did not continue.
No, it didn't. He was running top 5 for a little bit of that race, so definitely a notable finish there for him. But also another notable one we can look through there is that 21, or I mean the 77 of Mark Whitley. We've seen him get collected twice there. Well, one by his own doing, one by a lap car. He's going to bring it home in that 21st position, so a tough night for him after starting second and really running there for the majority of the race.
I mean, Lime Rock Park, not a track you usually go to, just a mile and a half in length, but drama-filled, and Zach, you coined it. I mean, it's the Bristol of road course racing, and it surely did not disappoint. It was great racing from the start to the end, but what are some of your final thoughts here tonight?
Well, man, I think we need to mark this thing down as like a seasonal thing. Like this is, I'll compare this. We got the NASCAR side of things with the Charlotte Roval. They brought that. They tried something different. And I think this is something special right here. So I got to commend these guys on going outside the box. You don't see a lot of leagues searching outside the box. They run Sonoma. They run Watkins Glen. The tracks that we've been running forever in the road course side of things. Now that NASCAR's getting more onto the road course side of field with more tracks in each and every season that they're building on with these road courses, it's cool to see these guys reach outside the box, go here to Lime Rock Park, one of the most famous, road courses in America, and a short, small one like this, it just adds a whole different feel to it. I'm telling you, I think they got to bring this one back again because it was just so much action going all around. It didn't feel like a road course race tonight, and I love road course racing, but this was way more action-packed than normal.
Yeah, it was hard for us, even in the booth, to really hold on and capture every single moment. There were a lot of wrecks that we couldn't go back to because there was just constant action. Even when we went to commercial break, there were drivers with incidences going on, but it was certainly fun action to be seen. As I noted, on Darlington's our next race, but the one after that, we're going to Eldora, dirt track racing. We're still changing things up here in the truck series, but before we finish out the call, there's one more man who needs to finish it out. We throw it up to our producer, Robert Moyer.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Zach. Yeah, I have to agree with what you guys said here. And I think outside the box, this is awesome to see. Go to a different track. I mean, iRacing offers us a lot of road course racing and a lot of road course tracks that we can pick and choose from and not just do the standard. And Lime Rock is one of them. Like you guys said, it was nothing but action-packed racing left and right. We couldn't keep up with it all in the booth. We did our best that we could. So hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content of tonight's race here with the NAISCC Truck Series every Monday night at 8:50 here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But like you said, we're going to go to the famous track of Darlington next week, one of my favorite tracks and awesome track to actually haul and race and watch action-packed racing there, as it's going to be Lady in Black's going to come on out and she's going to slap some drivers around every once in a while there. So we'll see how they handle that track coming next week. And then, like you said, in 2 weeks, we throw these things in some dirt racing. We're going to sling some mud, some dust, some dirt. So we'll see how that all plays out as they pack 30-some trucks in Eldora. Oh, my God. Everybody prepare yourself, and the only way to prepare yourself is to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action here on Monday nights or throughout the week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Our next televised broadcast will be Wednesday night with Underdog Racing League, as we'll have Carl and Zach Hall calling all the action there as we head up north to Pocono as they bring the Xfinity cars out. So they're getting ready for their playoffs, so make sure you tune in at 8:30 Eastern on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But man, what a race, what a race. Congratulations to Vince bouncing back after last week's little bit of team drama with Danny taking him out on the last lap. He comes back and gets the win. So that team is looking very, very strong right now after week 5 here with these guys here at the Truck Series. But with that being said, again, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Zach. And from the virtual side of Lime Rock, whatever you want to call it, Lime Rock Raceway, or heck, I don't even know the right name to even call it. But anyways, if you go back and watch this replay, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like button and share it to your friends and family on your favorite social media platform. But until next time, we'll catch everybody later here in the booth. God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.